hasn't even been 24 hours since I vaped. It's been more like, I would say, it's been like about 10 hours, maybe even 12, right? No, I don't think it's been 12 yet, but it's been a few hours. So that's the update. I'm trying to stop vaping, y'all. It's not easy at all. If you know, you know, nicotine in general, but the vape is like really, really, really addictive. Turn this down a little bit, watching a little girl. So since my nails are almost done, okay, which normally I'm not like just crazy about painting my nails like I normally used to be, just because I noticed that the polish, it comes off really easy if it's, you know, coming in contact with water a lot, and I wash my hands and wash dishes a lot. So, but obviously, I don't know, today being Thursday, me just, you know, feeling like I have not came on and gave you guys like a vlog or a day in the life video in a while, which this is not really either. I mean, it's a vlog, but it's more like an update, you know. So as I was saying about the vaping, you guys, it's been months. This informal statement that I'm making right now obviously will somewhat be of another form of an update as well. So um what I was dealing with as far as anxiety, heart palpitations, any flare-ups concerning, muscle spasms, tension in my chest and things like that has been gone for a minute now. I haven't been dealing with it. I truly feel like my prayers, my guardian angels have definitely got rid of that issue for me. So I'm not having to deal with anything like that anymore. Um, but I have been taking it, taking it smooth and because I was taking some sort of vitamins as well. So I didn't want to like collide that with me also going into like a steady workout routine yet. This following week coming up, I will be getting back to that, even if it's just walking outside or walking and doing sit ups or something like that. But I said all that to say that me not vaping anymore has nothing to do with that. As you guys know, or if you want to go back and look, you can see in those live videos, I was still vaping. I was just like, it is what it is. I knew it wasn't anything life threatening because I had already went to the actual hospital and let them take tests and do lab work and things like that, like I already said in those videos. So me deciding, to stop vaping has nothing to do with anything recently happening. I seen something else on YouTube, I believe, on the timeline a couple weeks ago because I had looked up some sort of symptoms about something like concerning my sinuses. And not long after, I want to say I seen like this video standing out on my timeline that said something about sinus tach. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Tach- Tachycardia, tachycardia, however you say it, right? And it was saying like it triggers it from the sinuses, and so I never fed into it. I never like clicked the video and watched it or anything like that because I'm like, for all I know, how it's chosen ones think. I'm like, they could have just made this because why hasn't anything come up, in the past or, up to that point, why haven't I seen any other videos talking about how your sinuses, when you sneeze, when you cough, things like that can trigger, spasms and cramps and things like that. So anyway, I didn't click on it, but I will say, just for anybody out there that's still dealing with this, that's still having that issue, is a lot of information on the internet. Don't let anybody make you ashamed or worry about using Google, because sometimes you go to the hospitals or you have a doctor's appointment. A lot of times when you tell them, well, I was looking symptoms up and I was looking at stuff, they're like taught and trained, I personally believe, to shame you for using the internet. And it's like, well, the information is out there. And me personally, I like to hear like um actual people's opinions, and that have went through, that have experienced certain things. So like TikTok is full of that, Reddit, Google even, I like to actually read and click forums and threads where people are talking about things that they're actually dealing with or have dealt with. That being said, I don't let anybody bully me out of not looking up symptoms or seeing what's going on with me. Um, a lot of times it helps you, it ease your nerves to see that there's other people out there that have dealt with the same thing. And it maybe it's because a lot of times we can be alarmed and we can think something is a bigger issue than it really is when we don't know, and we're thinking that, oh, this is just happening to me. So anyway, with that being said, I send light and love to anybody that is dealing with that. That's a good person, because me, myself, and other chosen ones, as you guys can see, my channel versus their channels, I don't go out and make videos and put every single interaction or harassment that I deal with from people surveillancing me or being, employed by the government, should I say, to harass me, to, document what I'm doing and things like that. I'm a very, very strong spiritual person. So with that being said, I don't let that type of stuff control my life. Even though I am somebody very unique and different, I have a lot of and not the type of out of body experiences that we normally think of when we hear somebody use this term where you like tripping out or it's like a trippy. No, when I say out of body experience, just meaning like perspective wise. There's a lot um, of situations where spirit was just able to show me from the outside perspective, and so I'm very aware, and I'm 100% sure, no matter the projections that I deal with, that there's people that are like, they become like really obsessed and infatuated with my energy. And what they don't realize is it's not my energy. It's not my flesh and bones. And that's not what they're obsessed with. They're obsessed with my ancestors, my spirit guides, and really, yeah, my truth. Okay, but it's just deeper than the flesh. It's just deeper than what they're seeing. They get obsessed with my energy in general. And so with that being said, they a lot of other people, they don't give their spirit guides the time, their ancestors the time. Something like this, I'm not shaming or putting them down, talking about the chosen ones now. Something like this is pretty hard to solely and bravely just depend on the divine, just depend on the unseen, especially when you're at a certain level where they feel like you're vulnerable enough to have people sent to you to send agents to you, fake relationships, fake friends, handlers, all kind of stuff like that. It can be like really, really, really hard for you to get to a point where, even though you don't know how you're going to deal with certain things, and then you have lack of privacy, so they want you to feel guilty for not having basic necessities. And then it's like a mind fuck, because you go out in society, even if it's on social media, and you hear the average person complaining about gas prices. You hear the average person complaining about, being able to get a job, being able to, pay their bills on time, or they're also dealing with some sort of financial constraints. And they do the most when it comes to you, though, chosen one. They do the most when it comes to, and then it's like these are signs that still remain humble, but these are signs that really should make it easy for you to sleep, because as you can see, there's multiple people in society dealing with the same, difficulties, from the government or from just the way things are right now, whether it's a recession or not. But deep down inside of these people, they know that you're blessed. They know that you're divinely guided, that the situation that you're in, it goes against your true destiny and your mission and your purpose. So I'm not saying that every person is targeted and chosen, because I don't really like using the targeted individual term anymore. But every person that's dealing with this, I'm not saying that it's destined for you to become a billionaire. It's destined for you to become a millionaire. You're going to get all this money and become rich and famous, or, not even famous, but just rich. And I mean, obviously you're well known, most of the time of year, like epically succeeding and overcoming this program. But majority of these individuals do become well off, however it manifests their destiny, the level of wisdom that they've had to acquire to, from where they used to be when they first were being gang stalked to, where they end up, the guidance, the wisdom, and just a lot of things just start making sense to them on why they had to go through what they had to go through. I'm not necessarily saying that, that destination is wealth concerned, like wealth to the point where they're consuming millions and millions. But a lot of times, um, just like we have physical court where people can sue and, they can run it up just off of pain and suffering alone, medical bills and things like that. I'm not going to make this video too long about that, but just to say the least, it's somewhat the same. The divine will like be like, come on now, like we have to balance this out. It wouldn't be justice for this person to now have to worry about this and that, because had they been left alone, this is somebody that doesn't mind learning. This is somebody that wouldn't mind putting up 8 years of school, going to college, or this is somebody that wouldn't mind putting in the work and the hours and owning their own business. So a lot of the chosen ones, you should be able to, it's not easy, but eventually you should be able to get the hang of ignoring what people are saying concerning, areas that are a struggle for you, because they can sit in and have conversations with other people or agree with other people, whether they know them or not, about, yeah, gas prices are crazy and inflation is crazy and prices are going up on everything. But when it comes to you, their envy and their sickness, their hatred, it stems from, whether they are aware of it or not, it stems from the reality of who you are, the reality of your situation, the reality of the fact that you fit in the category of people in the world where everybody's not broke. No matter how many recessions happen, no matter how much gas prices go up, there are good people out here. Even if they made bad decisions and ended up where they are, there are people who their soul is fortunate this lifetime. They deserve to still have wealth. They deserve to be in a situation so where they can help their loved ones and their families. And yours is so grand. It's just the enemy, whether it was through family, people in the community, friends that you grew up with, it was a fight pretty much. The enemy didn't want you to receive your divine inheritance It didn't want you to receive your blessings, okay, your destiny. And so with that being said about that, you guys, I just wanted to say, to say the least, obviously surveillance is still going on, but I'm strong. I'm not letting that make me just not live my life. Of course, I choose to do things in increments based on priority. So, it hasn't been a priority of mine to like, tackle petty battles with these people. Like, let me prove to you that if you want me to stay indoors all day, I'm gonna go outdoors. It's like I have other priorities that matter that they can't get to as long as I know how to, prioritize correctly, and that's what matters to me. And when they know that they can't get to those areas like your hygiene, like your mental health, like your peace, things like that, you being able to look and get the right clarity and see how your life will be, down the line in the future. A lot of times the things that they know that they can't control or distract you from, what they'll do is they'll start trying to bring up things that really just aren't a priority that you need to be worrying about, and try to make you feel inferior or make you feel powerless in those areas. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to be more consistent with my tarot channel. I'm sure you guys remember that are subscribed or that are a supporter of this channel, where I was doing readings on this channel. And now I've linked it down below, but now I've been uploading videos again, tarot readings on Princess Diamond. And so Princess Diamond readings, Princess Diamond Tarot, same channel. And they started hitting me with the storage on my phone, saying that the storage was low, saying that, and I was, if right? You go through it and you're like, where? Like, I've damn near deleted everything, all the apps, everything. I've cleared out the cache. Like, why is everything still so full? And so I knew that was going to come. So I am in the process of trying to find a better recording device. I can use my phone. I did some more research, and I'm currently still doing more research on like what's the best way so that I don't have to worry about that, so I can go around that scenario. I know that I'm not the only person, or it's not just a few people out there that deal with that, but a lot of times when your messages are beneficial, when you're actually talking about something that's going to elevate people, that's going to raise the vibration through wisdom, through enlightenment. They seem to just give you these roadblocks and these hard times with you being able to like share your message. So anyway, I'm working around that. I will put my Cash App down below. I'm not begging. I'm not even really asking, but I do know that there are people over the years that have without me asking, okay? I would probably be in a great mood and I would just receive a Cash App and it wasn't even asking. So, I know that sometimes, a lot of times people just want to do, especially when you're not asking. So, I don't want to make it to where anybody has to like go through my email or leave a comment down below and be like, what's your Cash App? So anyway, I will, if you guys want to donate anything, no amount is too little or too much. I will appreciate it. So yeah, when I get better recording equipment, you guys, then I will definitely be more consistent. But that's something that has kind of slowed things down a little bit. I'm trying to think of any other updates. So music. So yes, I have seen that there are on websites that I shop on, I did see that there are equipment out there. There is equipment out there that has like a microphone attached to it. It has like um, what do you want to call it? Like a keyboard, but it's more so like a soundboard or something. So where you can like edit the pitch and things like that. So that's something that I'm very interested in. Sort of trying to build my own home studio or whatever, even though you guys know that I am happily independent. I'm a happily independent artist, but I love music. Just how some people get into the craft of painting and they get into, and I hate that I have to always explain this, but um, coming from my race of people in this country, it's a lot of ignorance, and they don't understand or understand or grasp the actual concept of art. Art can be writing. It can be creative writing. You could like to create your art through books that you write and, want to share that. It can be not just painting. It can be whatever you create in a creative way is art. And so one of my passions, okay, that I like as far as of artists and as far as me creating art is music. I like to write music. I like to actually listen to different instrumentals and different, tunes and write songs to that. It has nothing, absolutely nothing at this age and at this point in phase of my life with the music industry. I don't want to be associated with it. So I don't want to be associated with it. I don't respect it. The people that are like at the top of that, the racist Caucasian toxicity and just the way that I see how things are with that, as far as women like me, and even the men, but women like me, how they get treated and how they get published. And if you do come off more conservative and you have more of a positive message, they don't really like to push you. It's same with YouTube. If it's toxic, if it's making the world a worse place, if it's pushing their agenda, then here we cash it out on you. But if it's you trying to be an individual or you trying to be awareness to the very system and the very agenda that they have, that's to really just take people out and discard people and make money and everything is about a business. Then yeah, you're the perfect sellout and they're going to. So anyway, with that being said, I have no desire at all to be a part of that. And again, I feel like for people that have thought that way, in a way where, I enjoy doing this, so why not make money from it? Well, I feel and look at it like this. I feel like once you make it to where that's your job and you are dependent on that, you're dependent on how many albums you sell, you're dependent on how many tickets you sell at this concert, if it sells out or not. Now you're comparing yourself to another artist. It's like, I feel like it takes the passion, it takes the creativity away. I feel like it makes it something to where now you don't even really enjoy it anymore. And there's just so many reasons I could go on and on, but I'm not on why I don't do it for that reason, as far as a profession, or should I say a business, from a business aspect. When I say independent, yes, I mean that it doesn't always have to be me gaining funds or financial, advancements because I want to share my art. I'm going to do that anyway because it's also an expression of me. It's an extension of me. So things that you have been doing since a child before anybody introduced it to you, that are creative, you know, aspects of who you are, should never be labeled or should never be attached to, a matrix style version of yourself, to say the least. And so for me, like I said, that's a part of who I am. The industry, I don't even like to say the industry like I deal with them like that, but should I say the music industry, um, they don't have the power to take that aspect of me away or give it to me. You know what I'm saying? So that, with that being said, it's art. Just like when people say, oh, I paint pictures, and I take it serious and look at my art gallery, look at all the pictures. That's how I feel about my music. It has nothing to do with me trying to, now as far as money manifestation and trying to better my financial situation, actually get to a point where I have a comfortable savings and I'm out in the world independent on my own and I can help family members, loved ones. I can also be a great, stable foundation for my children. That's absolutely every single day my motives. I'm not going to get on here and tell my personal business, what I do, what type of affirmations I say, my prayers. That's nobody's business. And as bad as it is, I already have to deal with, very mentally ill people that continuously don't see the wrong and the injustice in them intruding upon my privacy every day, all day. But nonetheless, yes, I definitely am still working on music, you guys, for Honey the Mermaid. But yeah, I've seen a few different forms of, equipment online where you can record from there as well. I don't think that that's something that I'm going to be investing in or wanting to anytime soon. Now, if I just, if my priorities made it possible financially and I was just able to splurge on something like that, then fine. But again, because this is not something that I'm choosing to do for money gain, it's just it's not a personal priority of mine right now. But yes, even aside from that individual, outside of that, I am trying to, get my finances to a better place. And it's working for me. I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of belief. I believe and know that I'll be a homeowner, within a small, short time from now, a vehicle owner, and just be very financially comfortable. So I welcome you guys to subscribe if you're new here. Welcome to this channel. I like to upload music here, talk about my personal situations and struggles with being the black sheep of my family, also being somewhat, picked on in America by the government, which is what a lot of you guys are probably familiar with as targeted individuals. I do not attach that label or that name to myself because I feel like that is people affirming that, and I don't affirm that. The government or anyone in this world does not have more power over my life than me. And God works in mysterious ways. And I do feel like there's a reason why in the times that we're living in right now, I'm able to share my story. I'm able to be, I guess, somewhat of a light and a positive role model for other people that are going through this. Being a targeted individual for people that are dealing with that on that level, I feel like a lot of times it just manifests through ways where you have weaknesses at. So if you're somebody, for example, that should have had better boundaries, stronger boundaries, if you're somebody that was too trusting of people, if you told your business too much, whatever the case may be, if it was just, this lifetime, it was meant for you to evolve stronger as a soul. A lot of times it can show up as that. And that's another reason why I don't really take it as serious mentally, or as personal, should I say. I don't take the whole phenomenon of being gang stalk as personal as I used to, because I see the growth, I see the evolution, and I'm proud of it. I do realize now that, who I've wished to be since a little girl, what it was going to take. And that's why I am dealing with gang stalking. Because a lot of the people, role models, or, examples that I had when it came to sophistication, when it came to intelligence, when it came to class, grace, when it came to just a woman since a little girl that I always desired to be. And I see that woman in me every single day. I see why the enemy attacked me so hard through people, through ignorance, through, using my own gullible, vulnerable spaces, youth against me, when I thought I could trust people and things. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's the energy that I want to wind up in eventually. And the enemy was using, those situations, those bonds, connections, and, those moments in my life where I didn't realize that they were using it against me, to say the least. And so a lot of those people, like I was saying, those examples of role models that I had, they actually had more support in the physical, than I did. And so because the enemy seen that God is real, God is able, he can do anything, God can make anything happen, because he realized that the enemy realized that they, like I said, it's like they threw hell at me, they wanted to take me just through the most. And so with that being said, I realized why they did that, because if God is saying yes, if the divine and the most high, my creator, is saying this person felt that way, they were drawn to that energy, and they seen themselves in that energy for the longest for a reason. Who are you to say, no, this is all you are, this is what I want you to be, this is what I want people to think about you? Now, the way people think about me, that part I don't care, but because I don't deal with people, when I make a vision board in my mind and I make my goals and I say what matters to me, my children show up, their future, them becoming grown men and grown women one day, where I want to be at 50, 60, even though I really don't really, I'm going to be honest, like it's a little personal, but I've said it before. I don't really desire to live honestly past like 50. I don't want to come off like I'm being selfish concerning my kids or anything like that. It's just, since forever, I've just always been like, I don't really want to, past 50, because I had such a hard life growing up. But that being said, I think about, when I mentally meditate on my goals, and, I constantly anchor inside my mind, the direction and where I want my life to be and what I want to focus on. Other people are not there. They don't matter. So yeah, it can get annoying when you have so many, because any logical person, any smart person would go, why? Now, if I'm chasing validation, if I'm in people's inboxes, if I'm under people's comments, if I'm reaching out to people and saying, email me, like then I would get so many people surveillancing me, making noise, harassing me, wanting me to care that what they think, but logically, I'm like, uh, whether I hit the million, whether I hit the lottery right now or not, I'm like, if I had everything that I wanted right now, even while I don't have everything I want right now, I'm not dealing with these people. But it's like, if I were to be able to go buy the perfect ranch style house and a decent car and decorate the hell out of my house and put all the furniture and just everything we need, build my savings account, make the PIN number, just get timeshare, get passports, everything to travel. If I really were to get everything how I felt to be completely comfortable in my life, the only people I can say for a fact that I would be contacting and that I would be checking on, or that I would be looking for approval from, or anything like that, would be myself, my children, and maybe a few of my siblings. That's it. So that has been something that I've had to find a way creatively, you guys, to channel and alchemize that energy, transmute that energy that I'm constantly receiving from these people all the time. Just constantly transmute it. Find a way, find weaknesses and areas that I see that I'm dealing with. When I do want to pray to my angels to help me in those areas, I will, put a lot of faith behind it through the negative energy that I receive. I've also succeeded by staying, in a very Zen-like energy, to say the least, because I do come with more positive energy than that. I just don't want to be too personal and detailed. Me staying in a high vibrational energy and ignoring and just trying to stay as positive as possible through the scrutiny, through the constant criticism, through the constant harassment, I've been able to force the enemy to take their mask off through various ways where they have to show their true demonic self, show, just how wrong this is, what this truly is about, many, many, many times. And for me, on a personal level, that is like growth. That's like the good results that I want, because Spirit was showing me this tug of war is very energetic and it's serious. If you're if they're not in that energy of being racist and giving racial slurs and talking about the dark archons, the dark rulers, or what some people know as to be the elite, if they're not in that energy where they're getting out of character and letting people know that they're racist, they're saying racist things, or they're putting up racist commercials and things like that about you, then immediately what my spirit guides were showing me about that spiritual battle is you would be in that energy. Because that's what they've sent. They've sent this over the years. They have. And because I constantly shield myself in high vibrational energy, what happens is it goes back to them. It's not something that they can cloak or something they can hide, because it went back to them. Now, if they never sent it, they wouldn't be in that racist energy. They wouldn't be in that hateful, very angry, just really weird. And so a lot of times I've been noticing, as high vibrational as I stay, that they're a lot of times coming off racist, coming off really angry, just coming at me on a real personal level. And I haven't said any racial slurs in a very long time. I haven't let these people have that type of control and power over me, just because I like to play mental chess. And I realized that, hey, they already got you targeted. They already, the world is already, well, this country is already racist. You're already a woman. You don't have a lot of family. Like, I was able to look at all of what I'm lacking and what's helping me. And it's like, that's why they want you to get in that energy. Is it fair that whether I'm in that energy or not, racist people are going to attack me? They're going to be funny. They're going to be petty. They're going to be jealous, and say little things and do little things. No, it's not fair at all. But the fact of the matter is, there is, even though I don't need them to like me, there is a lot of people in the world that are of other races, that are Caucasian, that are not racist. And for them to see you in that light and hear you lashing out and saying things like that, like, again, I don't need their help or anything. All I need is God. You still don't want them on the voting end of saying, yeah, I think she's a bad person. She deserves to go through what she goes through. And just to say the least, to end all of that, it's just not who I am. I'm not a racist person. I'm not somebody that hates a person because of their race. I'm not an insecure Black woman. So, I don't carry that energy within me. These people in this country have a serious problem. And I believe that, with just the shifts that we've been going through, the transitions that we've been going through energetically and spiritually, it's not anywhere they can hide it anymore. A lot of people are being able to see it. It used to be very covert back in the day, when a lot of people weren't, a part of maybe the right spiritual system, or just, there wasn't a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge about certain things, about psychological warfare. So they were able to get away with this type of stuff for a really, really long time. And now it's getting harder. The more that people are spiritually protecting themselves, I'm in this group, I can definitely, attest to, once you learn how to properly shield yourself, call your power back, reclaim your true energy, the more and more that you notice their true energy, their true hatred, their true low vibrational energy, and the lack of love that they have in their life. Love is a very, very strong vibration. And a lot of times when people think about it, they think that they always include a counterpart. They always think that that has to come with a marriage or with a person you're dating. And then if you say that you're somebody that believes or exercises self-love healthily, if you are somebody that brings that up a lot, then they think that it's because you can't get somebody, or they believe that it's just, whatever they believe. But in reality, those that know that self-love is love in general is a very, very high vibration. It's a very powerful force. And so there's people out there that are ignorant to the point where they feel like if they don't have a relationship or a counterpart that actually truly loves them, because that's important, that they can't experience love. And so people like myself that know that you can definitely experience that loving energy through self-love. You can definitely experience and have that vibration of love around you, through you, and work with it through self-love, through giving it to yourself. And I think that action is so limited just to that term, because that term has been used so much and thrown around so much that people don't see just how many various actions and how many various, examples and ways on how that shows up as self-love. Okay, so me operating out of such a strong force, loving myself enough, calling in that energy, praying to the heavens, praying to the Most High, show me how to love myself, show me how to unconditionally, deeply, wholeheartedly love myself. And I've been doing this for several years now. And the way that it will show up a lot of times is you being patient with yourself, you choosing yourself, especially in chaotic situations or situations where there's a lot of toxicity and hatred and people that just don't want to understand you. A lot of times that self-love will weed out what matters and what doesn't matter. And so for my situation, I'm constantly loving on myself. If I'm too tired, I do what I need to do to charge up. I tell myself this is okay. I'm constantly loving on myself. Like, what you're dealing with is not a normal situation. And just on and on and on with that situation, just constantly showing myself a lot of love through a situation that is full of hatred. Excuse me, you guys. So I do want to encourage you guys to kind of like just go with the flow, as far as having faith, as far as trusting the divine. I know I'm going to edit this part, but I still want to try to let you guys understand what I mean by me trying to lead as an example. I don't feel like it's necessary unless you just, you are weak when it comes to faith. I don't feel like it's necessary for you to document every single interaction that you have with gang stalkers, for you to show people every time a helicopter, every time an ambulance, every time a fire truck or a police officer speeds down, somewhere where you are. And that was my next point that I was going to get to. And I don't think it's a coincidence that my throat chakra kind of started acting up. And also my body, my vocals and everything is probably trying to adjust to me not constantly vaping. So, but yeah, that's something that I've been wanting to put in my videos for a long time, because I will say that I don't, and it's obvious that I don't document, every time neighbors or people around me are making noise. They don't deserve that type of space or recognition in my life. If I hate you, or hate is such a strong word and such a strong emotion. But if I strongly dislike you because you're trying to, you're in my privacy. I'm not watching you walk around your house naked. I'm not watching you, talk to your family. Like, this is such a very disrespectful crime. And back to what I was saying earlier, a lot of these people, they become in consumed and infatuated because they're not. I'm not saying I'm the only person that is able to completely block this out and ignore it, because I don't 100%, but I do damn near like 90%. There's more of a larger percentage of me not letting this affect me and stop me with my life and the things that I desire to do every day, versus this consuming my life. With that being said, that's not something that a lot of these people that do this to people are used to seeing. And I'm aware of that. And because it's so much deeper than just you knowing that a person is surveillance you and making noise. Like, there's layers. Okay, just know that there are layers of the disrespect and layers of how nefarious that this truly is. And it's so deep that a lot of times the victim that's dealing with it does not even pause, reflect, and acknowledge it. And that's why it does what those people are doing to you. It does what they want it to do. they're aware that you don't have a way to see them. You don't, not only two things, they're aware that you don't have the app or you don't have the technology to do what they're doing to you, but they're also aware that you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't if you could. You would never, like, why? And regardless of these people wanting to hide behind the statement of, oh, well, this is a job for me, I'm getting paid for this. A lot of these people know your worth and know who you are. Don't let this world or anything or anyone try to tell you who you are, who you're not. Come on now. A lot of these people, they enjoy it. They enjoy, it's one thing to stalk somebody's social media, wonder how they're getting by, wonder how their life is behind closed doors. But then technology and just the wickedness of this program, it can allow people to take jealousy and obsession and hatred to an entire different level to where now I'm watching you sleep, I'm watching you shower. When anything evil happens, like people that didn't believe in spirituality back in the 90s, back in the 2000s, I know that they know now, okay, because this has forced, the world has become just very dark because of this. Seeing, just normal things happening, a remote fall off the table and hit the floor. And these people will, their hatred and their envy for you and their just desire because they're spying on you to want to see something bad happen to you so bad. Situations like that, maybe a pot or a pan dropping, maybe a door breaking, maybe, or when I say breaking, it doesn't lock or it doesn't close all the way. Any little small house, little issues, or even in life in general, if you're a targeted individual that, does have a vehicle, I have several while going through this. Maybe you catch a flat tire, maybe you don't have that much gas in your tank, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're looking for, something that you placed in the seat, you have to pull over and you're like, I just had it, and you can't drive and look for it, and now they're blaring past you and making noise. And so this has really made the world a very dark place. But to say the least, you guys, I don't let this stuff 90% of the time, 90 to 95% of the time, I've had to, which is very inhumane, I've had to ignore it and act like it's not happening. And God tells me all the time, just because you're protected enough to see that that's the best thing to do right now, I never want you to think that you deserve this. I never ever want you to believe that you deserve to be surveillance, that you deserve, for females you would never have a conversation, you don't even want to say hello to them when you see them, guys that you don't even want to wave to and say, how are you doing, how was your day today, watching you sleep, watching you don't deserve this. And without me going just really deep about, my personal conversations with the Most High, He lets me know all the time, you're doing good by ignoring this wickedness, but you don't deserve this. And just because you have to get used to ignoring it because you know that they're demons and they want reactions and they want to try to make you come out of your feminine energy, make you come out of your high vibrational energy, to say the least. I don't ever want you to get confused while, you know, ignoring it and having to constantly fight day and night to stay high vibrational while they're projecting this and doing this wickedness to you. I never want you to believe that you deserve this treatment. I never want you to think that it's normal, that it's supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. And I'm so glad that you're mine, is what he said. I'm so glad to call you, one of my chosen ones, because I know in your soul and heart and mind, I filled you up with so much light and so much talent and so many gifts. You wouldn't dare care to sit up and watch them in their houses. And you probably would be bored if you ever even considered it, but they're so dark and full of emptiness and darkness that you would never want to watch them. But see, my chosen one, they be trying to figure you out. They try to figure us out because, they know what they've had to do to have a little stability, and we're not the same. We're not. They don't have an inheritance that was stolen from them, property and land. They're not a reincarnated legend. So, I mean, rightfully so, they're obsessed. They should be. They're haters. They should hate me. They should hate you, chosen ones. But at the end of the day, you don't deserve for people that have nothing good to say about you. They don't wish well on you. They want everything in your life to fail, and they've, come together for years and grouped up to see these things happen. You don't deserve them to sit up and watch you every second that you're breathing, every step that you take, everything that you do. I want you to know today, if you guys don't have the same strong, close relationship with the true creator like I do, I'm going to tell you like he tells me every day. I see you ignoring it. I see you having to block it out and act like it's not happening, but you don't deserve. This is not normal. and you should not have to deal with this. And to say the least, this is exactly why people get what they get by doing this to you. Okay. Doesn't matter who has, bought their soul or controlled them and made them think that what they're doing is normal, that it's okay. The facts are that this is not normal, and that, the dark rulers, the archons, are trying to make this world to where it's like anything goes. We've seen this. We've seen this from so many different laws to so many different stories. I don't have to make this video about that. But everything doesn't go. Okay. I don't have to open up my privacy in my life to people that I don't even like, that I don't even want to watch me. Why would they have something good to say? I'm not confused about why they make noise when everyday things happen and they sit back like a bunch of disgusting rats. This is when I learned how to really get spiritually strong. They sit back like a bunch of disgusting rats hiding behind a toilet when life is happening to them. Chosen, when you're so powerful, and I'm speaking about myself as well, that these people will live in misery. The elites know it, ball up and pretty much somewhat not care to a certain extent how many other people hear their personal business, know about their ills that they're taking, their failures. But as long as you don't know, that's how powerful you are. That's how powerful you are, chosen ones. As long as you don't know who passed away, as long as you don't know, the sickness that they just got diagnosed with. As long as you don't know what the Most High God and your spirit guides are doing to them, they'll suffer in silence, and it's good enough for them. But I just want to end all of that by just saying, just know the same stuff that they sit up in their program and they're paid and they're coached to make a bunch of noise about, watching your life through a camera, watching you in your personal life, they're dealing with it as well. They're dealing with it as well. And I don't know who needed to hear that, because God has always gave me that clarity. He's always given me that clarity about these people. And excuse me, he's really started to give me that clarity. Well, it started by me paying attention to the, what do you call it? Not just the frequency. A lot of people throw that word around too. The vibration that they will start to harass you in. Like if it's real, like consistent, and it's like the pattern. Like it was like this at first, and then maybe I make a noise and it's like this, and maybe I make, but then if it's like it's just back, it's like a different frequency, a different vibration that they're coming at me with. A lot of times, yes, I would use my intuition, but I would do a reading and I would see like, oh, okay, so this person is dealing with spiritual warfare. Some of the stuff they're dealing with, bad karma, some things done happen. And that's when they'll, run to the phone or run to the device to surveillance you, because they feel like they already know it's wrong. So think about that. When you do something that will hurt a person, you know, you already know it's wrong. You already know it'll hurt somebody. And so when you go out in the world or whatever, you get the energy that you're sending out, negative things happen to you. And then you go, oh, I know what I'm about to do. I'm thinking, it's just very wicked. And I don't know if the people are honest with these people when they sign up for this stuff and say, now this comes with some bad karma. So if people start passing away when you do this, it's just like they should literally give these people some sort of disclaimer. Like, think when a person is going to smoke their first blunt, and the person that's letting them hit the blunt is aware that this is the first time they finna smoke the blunt, and they know that maybe it's other stuff in the weed, or just in general that this person is not used to smoking, and they don't know, like, it's think that's the way that they should give these people a disclaimer. Like, look now, don't be choking on me, or you could choke if something happened to you, don't blame me. Like, these people should have some sort of disclaimer that they give these gang stalkers and let them know the truth, based off spiritual law, just based off reality, and you're spying on somebody in the privacy of their own life. This is somebody that does not know you, that does not talk to you, that just have no relationship with you. And it should really be illegal. And I feel like, and I don't know who this is going to give hope to today. A lot of times when something is a spiritual law or it's wrong, it will manifest in the physical by them being forced to make it a law. But some things, the spiritual battle is so real that it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while, but they're going to be forced to make this illegal. This is along the lines of just walking in somebody's house and just making yourself comfortable on the couch, a complete stranger that you don't know. And then when they drop something or break something, or them and their kids are getting into it, or whatever negative things that come with life, whatever they're going through, you sitting there and going, ha 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 ha. Uh-huh. Yeah. What would the average person do? You would pick up a fucking gun and kill that person, and you would be justified. Hear me when I say this, chosen ones. You would be justified to pick up a fucking shotgun rifle and blow that person the fuck up out your house. So I work with Ochozi, I work with Ogufra, I work with Imalawedo. I work with a lot of warrior spirits, a lot of spirits that really don't like injustice. And so again, they're not gonna tell these people, tread lightly. Some people, they might just be Christians, or they might just be, really weak, docile people. And you can just go walk in their house and sit on the couch and laugh and taunt them, and ain't nobody, they might not call the police. They might not do nothing. They might not try to protect themselves. But some people, you don't know what you're walking into. And it's the same thing with this surveillance and stuff. We're just living in a very dark, ignorant time where, yes, things are starting to come to the light. People are starting to become enlightened, but that's such a complex situation where the motives behind it, what draw people in to want to participate and do that to people, is so many levels of spirituality when it comes to dark and light that's taking place, that people are not able to completely wake up right now, right away, and see why you can get bad karma for that. But the reality is, anybody that gets it, I just made it pretty simple and it's common sense for you at this point. It's illegal. It's illegal. It's illegal spiritually. It's gonna be made illegal physically. Okay, because that's so creepy. Like, even if you have a problem where you just have a simple disliking towards a person, what would so-called good law enforcement tell you? Okay, well, stay away from that person. Don't go to their job. Don't go around their car. Don't go to their home. And you, like, it just, to say the least, these people should not have access. They should not have access, because I understand that, I comprehend that this is an experimentation for the elites, for the corrupt, dark rulers. I get all of that because I'm a very intelligent, wise woman. But for the slow, for the people that don't get it, okay, why should it take you to see what giving certain people access to people's personal life does? Why should it take you to see that, to already know that it should be illegal, that it should not be given access to somebody's personal life, personal routines, dealing with their own personal struggles, their own life story? It should not be given over to complete strangers in society. Why are there people that are so mentally delayed and intelligent wise delayed, to the point where it's going to take a bunch of cases, it's going to take hundreds and hundreds of cases of people being targeted for you to see why a stranger, the average person, should not have access to what is going on in so anyway, those of us that are spiritually, inclined, we're, goddesses, we're gifted, we're consistent, we're strong. um Not only is this going to cause, death in people's lives that are participating in this, but it's also going to, they're going to go to jail, they're going to go to prison. Why would you not? Why would? And these are people, a lot of these people, y'all, they believe in Jesus. Like, the whole situation is disgusting. I realize and recognize that I am very ahead of my time. A lot of this stuff that I talk about, it never really clicks or makes sense, or people don't have the focus, okay, to interpret how in depth something is, until, like, time has went by, or maybe they go through certain personal transits and shifts in their own life, to where now they can appreciate and they can comprehend the information that I was talking about. So yeah, I realize I'm very, very ahead of my time, that I'm also dealing with spiritual warfare. But for any person that decides to do this to a person in the future, now, in the past, for some people in the past, I feel like it showed up just as generational curses and, illnesses, and just a lot of bad karma on that family, that was a part of doing this to a person. Then I feel like now we're in like the medium phase, right? We're not really in that advanced where it's been going on that long, while people are awake, while people are conscious. So now in the medium, you see where people are going to jail. People are dealing with lawsuits, not based on, it being called, I'm suing you or I'm locking you up for gang stalking. It just manifests through spiritual warfare taking place in their life that they cannot avoid. You need positive energy to defeat negative energy, right? They cancel each other out. But when you're a good person and you have, good debt, you have good positive, you're more in a positive. When negativity comes at you, you can always defeat it. You can conquer it. These individuals can't. So what they put out, they have to get back. They put out all of this crazy negative energy. It's not even just bullying. Like it's really a crime. This is a crime. This is illegal. You would not allow somebody to just walk in a stranger's house. It's the same thing. And I don't know how many layers of psychosis or delusions or confusion that they place on people in society to not see that, just as simple as it is. But any normal human being with integrity and morals would feel weird watching some stranger, the man down the road that you don't know, that's your neighbor, on some sort of app or some sort of device. You watching him walk around his house without his shirt on, and his personal life, and like how do you feel normal? How do you not feel like a demon, like creeped out, like weird? Like how is it that it's just so it's very illegal. And if you fucking around with the wrong one, you're gonna be penalized. You're gonna go to prison for a very long time. You're gonna lose your life, and you're gonna bury people that you love. That's just how it's gonna go down. And so, a lot of these cases, because they're now using this as like an experiment, how much crime, how much illegal activity, how much wickedness can we make people think is normal to do to people? And, before it comes down crashing on the earth to where we got to make it illegal. We got to have our law enforcement and train them to do their job when it comes to people that break this particular crime. You see what I'm saying? So it's not fair, and again, I want you guys to remember, like my spirit guides were telling me, like the Most High, my creator, was telling me, yes, I'm proud of you. I recognize that you have become used to, this, but it's not normal. It's not. It's not normal. It's not normal for people just driving in their cars to be watching you in the home, watching you, you know, and you've dealt with this for such a long time that you have missed out on opportunities, blessings, situations, relationships that should have been natural, opportunities that should have came to you and blossomed very naturally, but because they wanted to play my position in your life, I'm God, I'm the divine, I'm the creator, because human beings wanted to say where you went, where you go, who likes you, because this is a very high spiritual crime, and there is going to be some major repercussions for this, and people have been dealing with it, and they're going to continue to deal with it. So again, you guys, I do a lot of work on myself. I'm constantly praying over myself. I'm constantly working with, the divine to help me through this. So I didn't just become like this overnight, and God is trying to make sure that I'm able to, assist and guide some of you guys, because, there's a lot of people out there dealing with this situation that haven't been able to clean themselves up, and that haven't been able to get their mind clear, sober themselves up, and, become somebody that can guide other people out of this, because it can be a very dark situation. It can be very wicked, and just very depressing, going through this, feeling isolated, having people intrude upon your privacy, complete strangers, people that, like I said, they've made it up in their mind, whether you're just really a outgoing person, a confident person, somebody that is not easily, you know, um, put down, that just lack self-esteem, and they start hating that about you, that things that they may have that you don't have don't mean nothing to you, and they'll use this wicked program and surveillance you, and it's really breeding sociopaths, psychopaths, it is. And so again, I want you guys to just, no matter how much, you have to train yourself to ignore the harassment, ignore, the gang stalking, ignore, the stuff that you deal with. Please do not associate yourself with this program. Don't associate yourself with the things that they project onto you. And just constantly, like I said, give yourself self-love. Let yourself know the reality of the situation. Don't allow these people to pressure you. Don't allow these people to compare you to other people that's not dealing with this. And they shouldn't be comparing you to anybody. but don't allow them to have any space or say so in your mind or your life. And last but not least, like I said, the Most High, He wants you to know that just because you have to, for your protection, ignore a lot of this stuff. Don't ever think that it's normal. Don't ever think that this is the way things are supposed to be. It's supposed to be a complete stranger, okay, or somebody that you don't deal with, that you have no personal relationship within your life, intruding in your privacy and watching your personal life. That is illegal. That is illegal. They might as well just open your front door and let any and everybody, all the females that's sitting up surveillance you for other women, all the females that hate you, that project and make a bunch of noise when they're watching you. Okay, the people that want to project the wickedness. If you, when I say project, clearly stuff that have nothing to do with you. They're making noise and doing certain things to psychologically attack you, to say that that's you, that's the situation, or oh, I'm happy that something bad happened, that I'm spying on you and I'm witnessing happen, right? They might as well just you might as well like you might as well just open your door and let those same people, the same neighbors, the same people that knock on the wall, the same people that have your address, that surveillance you, that rob by, all of them might as well just knock on the door, just break in your house and just sit in your living room and just say, I'm not leaving. What you gonna do about it? That's what they might as well. And they probably laugh about this behind the scenes and say, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And so you have to be possessed with a very dark demon, a very demonic, crazy ass energy it's gonna I promise you guys, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, okay? Because I have a very soft spot for people that's also dealing with this, and you're awake like me. Because when you're dealing with this and you're not really enlightened or awakened to it, a lot of it you don't even notice it. And so, I'm not saying that y'all don't matter, but my soft spot that I have for people dealing with this are the people that's on my level. Like, you recognize the police harassment with their noises, the helicopters, the electronic harassment. You recognize it. I have a very soft spot for y'all because you are a human being. You're somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's mother, somebody's brother, somebody's father. You don't deserve for an entire community, the entire world, the internet, the elite. You don't deserve to be treated like this. This is worse than shooting somebody. This is worse than killing somebody. And a lot of times we were dealing with this as children, okay? And they were, trying to groom, and they were trying to, make us the type of people that they wanted to make us. And they succeeded with a lot of our family members, uncles, aunts, a lot of the people that ended up on drugs or ended up, getting 50, 40, 50 years in prison. But in some cases, a lot of these people are also going to end up in the same place because they're going against chosen people. They're going against God's purpose and mission for people's lives. Some of y'all was supposed to have been married. Some of y'all was supposed to have been owning your own businesses. You was supposed to have been traveling the world. But you sitting up with a bunch of people that's trying to play God in your life. So I'm gonna leave it at that, you guys. I don't make these videos anymore talking about this stuff because they just don't deserve that type of energy. Like I said, daily, hourly, secondly, I'm ignoring the things that they project. Sometimes I'll take a moment, I'll be like, but why would I care? You're a stranger. I can't put a name in a face with who you are. You're just somebody that's like, some very, very few times will I sit and think about it for a second, like, this is so sick. Like, but most of the time, I don't. I'm going to be honest. Most of the time, I'm just like, I know what I need to do that'll make me not care about this. I know what I need to gain in life that will make me not care. It still doesn't make it normal, and it still doesn't make it okay. And I don't deserve to deal with this. Like I said, to me, it's almost like I might as well open up the door and let all of these strangers, all of these people I don't know, and even if I do know them, I don't talk to them, I don't deal with them, I don't have a personal relationship. Just come on in. Why close the door? Why close the window? You see? So we're getting the veil is thinning, the spiritual veil is thinning, and a lot of things are coming to the light, and it's getting to the point where people are no longer going to be able to say whether you're a spiritual person, you're a Muslim, you're Ifa, whatever. People are no longer going to be able to try to make you out to be the bad guy because of your spirituality and how doing this to somebody, surveillance and intruding upon somebody's privacy, why this got their loved ones killed, got they loved ones, taken away for the rest of their life in prison or dying, ain't got much time to live. Like, there's not going to be no argument no more about it because, like I said, if you're dealing with this, you might as well never close your door. You might as well open your front and back door, all your windows, and every person that's sitting up behind the scenes, obsessed in surveillance in your life and being a coward and trying to play God in your life, trying to harass you. Every person that chirps their car alarm or slams the door and makes a noise, they're aware of, no matter how small that tactic is, they're aware of why it hurts and why it's ignorant and why it's evil because you don't know them. You don't know them. It's that simple. Even if they stood in front of your window and just clapped when you said something, or when you started to cry or blow your nose or whatever, they're aware that it's not even the tactic. It's the fact that you're watching my life. You're in my privacy. So it's getting to the point, like I said, where people are, they're not gonna be able to debate or act like they don't know why the karma is the way it is for them, and it's going to continue. So I want you guys to remember this. It's a couple more things I want to show y'all in this video, but I want you guys to wake up every single day, listen to your energy, listen to yourself. Don't worry about what's being projected onto you. And don't move out of fear. Okay, fear is a very low vibration. So if they're trying to like project scarcity on you, which is scarcity, which is for you to like worry about lack and money, knowing that they're already doing a lot to affect you financially and affect your life overall, you have to shower and fill yourself up with the complete opposite energy. God loves me. God is always mysteriously working things out for me. Whatever you have to do, it needs to be things that are going to keep your vibration high and raise it. And like I said the other things, if you need to just rewind it or whatever, but just remember, you're not dealing, you don't have the same chances. I mean, through God and the divine, you do, right? And that's why you'll still prosper as long as you believe in yourself and stay high vibing. But for them to project onto you what you should be doing, what type of schedule you should be on every day, it's nuts. It's nuts for them to even do that, knowing that they have a schedule and a routine that is trying to sabotage your life, that is trying to get you to act out, get you to react, get you to incriminate yourself, get you to where they can make you look like you're mentally ill or mentally unstable. This is their job around the clock. So it's nuts for them to project onto you that you're lazy, that you're, while doing spells to make you drain, doing spells to make you depressed, doing spells to make you angry, doing spells to make you rage bait, doing spells to bring your vibration down. That is nuts. These people are out of their fucking mind to sit there. You as a normal human being, somebody that's under a lot of stress, scrutiny, people spying on you, people attacking you, people experimenting, attacking your energy, to then sit there after doing all of that, or knowing that that's being done, okay, taking witness to all of those attacks being sent to you, try to project onto you and make you go, damn, I should be trying to carry the world on my back at this time by trying to do what this person across the street does, or this person that I used to know 10 years ago, or this other person, my cousin, my family member that gets up and they do this and they go to the gym 10 hours a day. Don't let them people compare you to anybody. They don't matter. They're dead. What they have to say, what they're doing, none of it matters. It's absurd that these people would even try, after their role in your life is to pretty much sabotage your life, destroy your life, mess your life up. It's so crazy to me, y'all, that they even think that they have a say so. Okay. So I hope I was able to give y'all some light and some clarity and some hope tonight by letting you know that it is illegal what they're doing. It is definitely wrong. It is definitely an injustice, a very high spiritual crime that they're committing. And as long as you just keep your vibration high, you just stay in your energy. Please utilize that force and that vibration of love. Okay, that'll definitely get them up off of you. Because they full of hate, to do this to somebody. They're hurting. They're full of low vibration, so they're not going to be able to survive being in your energy, and it's just going to make them crash out. It's going to make them. I had somebody literally hit the side of the house the other night. I forgot, because I'm always happy. I'm so, God loves me and spoils me. I'm always so positive. But I was in my room, my bedroom, and I was laying there, and this foundation of this house, on the outside and everything, is brick. And so, you got to really bang on something really hard for on the other side of that wall for a person to be able to hear it. And so clearly that person had a device in their phone while they were looking at it, because they wouldn't have done it if they didn't know I was in the bed. You get what I'm saying? And then they did it right there where my face was, like right there where I was, so that I could hear it. So, like I said, this type of stuff is very illegal. They should be shot down. They should be murdered. They should be stabbed to death. They should be all of that. But I'm not saying that from a place of hurt. I'm not saying that from a space of frustration or anything like that. My life is going on. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting wiser. I'm getting more prosperous. I think another thing that is taking a lot of these people out. And some of us are literally dealing with this in numbers. It's like a lot of people doing this because they know we don't want anything to do with them. Maybe you grew up with crackhead parents. Maybe your father wasn't in your life. Maybe things were just rough for you. And a lot of people just felt like they could have access to you because don't nobody love you. Your mama a crackhead, your daddy a crackhead. So as you wisen up, as you grow, whatever spiritual system or religion that you're a part of, as you take your power back and as you just realize, and love on yourself. I'm telling you, the self-love is really that's really the spell. That's really the gag. The more that you love yourself and you heal, because that self-love can really heal you. Okay. And you start to see like, oh, I'm not that situation. I'm not that, like, I'm more than that. That's just, the stuff that I had to deal with growing up. That's just, I made that decision and I trusted those people and I hung around those people because I didn't have the protection or the family guidance and guardians and force that some people had. I had to learn a little longer, a little harder than other people because I was by myself in this world. I had to learn a lot of stuff on my own. A lot of these people that are very ignorant, that they seen you, whether you're an attractive man, an attractive woman, or you just radiate this really attractive energy, and um they seen it and they didn't see it being protected. They didn't see it being protected. And so you get to a space where when it comes to like the consistent harassment that I deal with, it's deeper than somebody doing this because they getting paid. Like a lot of these people, sometimes I can tell that and again, don't forget that this is also a form of human experimentation from the higher ups, right? For them, from a far away distance, they're experimenting on everybody in the situation. The people that, you get what I'm saying, how you dealing with it, you're the different one, you're the one that God is guiding through the situation, and versus the devils that they're able to control. Like, they're experimenting on the entire situation. So they're scum. They don't matter. Don't ever think that they're your friend. Okay. But yeah, like, I've realized in my personal scenario that a lot of people that I'm dealing with is from their rage. They're just very, very low vibrational energy is coming from a space of not having access. And they do the most with the access to me that they have. Like bang on the side of the house or, things like that. And so again, how much do they have to do before, I'm not going to call anybody slow, but how much of none of it's legal. None of this is legal. And so because certain individuals, the spiritual warfare got so chaotic and toxic that they tried to make it like it was legal, the spirit realm is going to give you justice. And since people are not being arrested for stalking, for knowing where a person lives, and they didn't directly give you their address, and you're knocking on the side of their home, like, people have lost their mind in the time we're living in completely, y'all. And so that whole rage bait culture that we're in right now, you got to be somebody that has always been able to decode people's character, which are a lot of people that have channels or they just have wisdom about narcissism. Narcissist and narcissism are people that are good at that. A person that gets to a point where they want to rage bait, you have to be able to tap into their psyche, to their psychological, to the way that they think, to the person they want to rage bait. So in the times we're living in now, where it's popular, a lot of people are in that. You got to dig a little deeper and see what's really happening beyond the surface. And what's happening, why so many, because everybody's not sitting up wanting to rage bait people. It's people that's really focused on their careers, their futures, their families and money and stuff like that. But those narcissistic people that have, you got to think, they were always narcissistic and they always have did tactics like that, like gaslighting you and things like that. So when they found that, it was like crack for them. They've got obsessed with it. It's like, because honestly, they're normally in that energy. They're normally in rage. They're normally, and they say hurt people hurt people. So that's why they gaslight you. That's why they're narcissistic. They're normally in that very low vibrational energy. So the term rage bait came when people started to see, well, I can get somebody to completely come out of their energy and their happy experience that they're having by baiting them, whether it's a lie, whether it's, whatever I got to do. And so now that's what you're witnessing. And so I'm going to end this video, well, this rant, this part of the video, by just encouraging you guys and telling you now more than ever, you need to gear up and you need to load up like it's, food supply, and you going in an underground bunker on your protection. Protect your energy, protect your peace, protect your mind, your psychological, now more than ever. And there's not a lot of channels, and there's not a lot of preachers, spiritualists, motivational speakers. I don't really hear a lot of them saying that. Very few have I came across that, highlighted that and made that, stand out, for how important it is. But I'm being honest now. Look at the times we live in, not just because crime has always been around. Drugs, poverty, adversity in general, and darkness has always been on this planet. But the attack with we're in the age of Aquarius, so there's an attack with the psyche. You get what I'm saying? And then with these elites wanting to constantly do experiments, they don't want people that's to come together and actually talk about things that's going to, create change or bring a solution about nothing. They're playing with that intellectual energy in a very dangerous way. So now more than ever do people need to go hard with their spiritual protection and their mental protection. And when you do that, you're going to see those people that were those people that were like really, really getting off on like the whole rage bait thing. Like, oh, I got a man, I got them. Those people that utilize and they need that power source, they need that energy. You're going to see those people drop. Some of these people might even just drop dead, literally, right in front of you. Because that tactic that I talked about with them just hitting that type of stuff, people, those are desperate things that they feel like will make a person go, because it's so wrong. It's almost like, to say the least, to shut down this entire rant. Imagine somebody so desperate to rage bait somebody that they risk their lives by, I'm going to kick their door in and see what they do. It's like equivalent to that. You got to see psychologically what I'm showing you about the mental space that these people are in. And I say you have to load up on your spiritual protection and your mental protection right now, because they're so desperate. I'm sure that they've lost people. I'm sure that things have went to shit in their life for doing this, but they're so desperate to get you to fall with them that they're willing to take that chance. So you have to love yourself enough to not only make time to see the truth, see what matters, sacrifice what doesn't, prioritize your life, and get the clarity and discernment that you need, and realize that, yes, a lot of the things that you're dealing with is not normal. And a lot of spirits that's getting in people nowadays is not normal. People used to run to people's aid. People used to stand up and feel the conviction inside of them that, hey, this isn't right. This is wickedness. This is dark. Stop. We're not in that time right now. We're in a time where there's a lot of people hurting and they don't have the wisdom or the strength to do what they need to do and release those emotions. So what they do is they harbor it. And when they see other people suffering or in pain, they go, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to enjoy this. That's very common right now. So chosen ones that are dealing with the things that I've said, this is why I'm telling you, cannot slip up. You can't get caught slipping. You have to constantly do your own research and see what is the best method for you. You have to protect your energy spiritually as much as possible right now. And you have to protect your mind, because this spiritual battle that we're in right now, where people are wanting to do that type of stuff to you, is stemming from the past. It's stemming from your glow up versus their glow up, your transformation versus their transformation, your wisdom that you've acquired and came into versus theirs. That's why they've succumbed and they've accepted being a part of the group they're a part of, wanting to see this is serious. This spiritual battle that's happening right now to a lot of the chosen ones, it's coming. It's stemming from history. It's stemming from the past, and for some of you guys, even your past life. And so a lot of them ain't strong enough to just see and be like, I lost that. When I was wrong about this person, I should have been more humble. Maybe that was just a phase or whatever. They ain't able to do that because literally a lot of these people capitalize off of the time when you didn't know the answer, the time when you didn't know things, the time when you didn't know. That's what made them, that's what gave them their glow up. And it's, to say the least, you guys are taking your power back. You're reclaiming. You're saying, no, I'm not what you said I am. I'm who I know I am, and I'm rising up in it. I'm gonna show you. And so the enemy can't handle that. So that's why they're taking very desperate measures to try to get you to come out of that energy. And so this is why you have to shield your mind. You have to shield your peace and your protection right now, because it's easy for you to go, well, damn, why the cops ain't doing nothing? Where is the judicial system? Where is the law? Why isn't the law standing in? How much are you going to allow them to do? You have to stand on faith and spiritually protect yourself right now, because nobody's going to do anything about it, because we're in hell. This world is very dark. This world is very evil. This world is very wicked. And at times they were able to cast illusions and veils over just how dark this place was, how much people actually enjoyed watching people suffer and, harboring pain and resentment from things that they went through and life just happening to them. You guys need to see the reality of the times we living in, because they don't want you to. And that's what they're banking on, to get you to go crazy. Because it's like, well, what is somebody going to be able to just, and even you saying it and feeding into it will give them like a laughter. So I'm just telling you, we're living in some really dark times. Do what you can to laugh. Do what you can to keep your vibration and your energy as high as possible. And it's just a matter of time. Don't ever get to a point where you like, is it working? Is me keeping my vibration high, fucking them up, or reversing the stuff that they don't ever even question it. Yes, remember, they're intruding upon your privacy. They're the one that is gang stalking you. Okay, so you don't even need to hear and notice that they've upped the harassment for you to be like, oh, okay, yeah, so some bad stuff must be happening. That's why they abusing that. Just know your karma and their karma ain't the same. You ain't went out here and was sitting up watching people while they in the privacy of their own home. You haven't went out here and harmed nobody. God ain't crazy. God knows the spiritual warfare, the manipulation, and the filthy world that you were born into. He knows the facts. So, don't let these crazy ass people control y'all and tell y'all what's what and what's going on. Look at my little Barbie snacks that I done made. So I'm used to normally making the cookies, and they be so soft, y'all. Remember the other video where I did the cookies, and I showed y'all how soft they was. Child, when I tell you I've gotten really good at that recipe, I've really mastered that with those cookies. And they say, you know what they say, when you really want something, you find out how to get it. And so for years, I always like the texture, as well as chocolate chips, but I've always liked the soft texture of McDonald's cookies, the cookie tote, for y'all that know. And I used to wonder, like, because the cookies they sell in the store, a lot of times people will make them hard, they'll cook them too long or whatever. And I mastered like the store-bought cinnamon rolls, making those, baking those and making them soft like Cinnabon. But as far as like the cookies, I've tried them a couple times, and they just always would be like crunchy, and they wouldn't be like soft like how I like. And so yeah, I think it was around Christmas time, I believe. But yeah, I looked up some homemade DIY recipes on how to get them soft, like how to get them chewy and soft and stuff. And so it took me, I'd say, about a good 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5, but it took me like at least 4 times to get it like right. So I got it right, y'all. And for the first time, which is what I just showed y'all, I put on like a little, we had some strawberry icing frosting in there that was supposed to be, and I only used a little bit, so it still is, but I had got it for some vanilla cupcake mix, for some stuff that I have going on personal. Anywho, yeah, I just thought I would, lighten the mood, and because we don't buy like little Debbie snack cakes and stuff like that. I just make cookies, brownies, cupcakes every now and then for us, because we don't get those little Debbie, those individually wrapped snacks. So I wanted to show you guys that. And that will be all in the video. Make sure you guys, if you do have the time or whatever, don't forget, check out some of the songs that I have been uploading and get familiar with it, you guys. I am going to be scheduling a concert this summer, with all of those songs, a live concert. Okay. And I'll be singing those songs live. I may do a little choreography with it. Okay. It's going to be my very first Honey Made concert. Okay. Singing some of those. So if you want, and if you consider yourself Honeytribe and you want to enjoy yourself on that day or that night, I would advise you guys to get familiar with the songs. And this particular concert, or just this particular movement, is it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful time because it's Honey the Mermaid, you know. And so a lot of the music obviously is centered around emotions, love, romance, and things like that. So make sure you guys get up on that. I'm gonna be uploading in a little while another song that I did. It's not the best musical quality because I just made it within like 20-30 minutes. But if you guys are in a relationship, for some of my younger Honeytribe members that are dating and you're in high school or college, or you just have somebody that you romantically are involved with that you love, and you realize, you know, that you don't want to let this person go. You feel like a lot of people are trying to break y'all up. They don't want to see y'all happy. I do feel like you'll really like the song. You'll like the words and just the entire message. Okay. So until I come back with another one, y'all, light and love. Peace.